Hello, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. All right. Well, um, hey there, Nancy. Hello, peace, love, sunshine. Hey, Max Flower. Uh, um, I started off with the guys I played music with, our rendition of a song called "Can't Buy Me Love," and I started off with Hunter Biden to plead guilty to federal tax charges, and that he strikes a deal on a gun charge. And the reason that I put that up there and had it up there as long as I did was so that there would be no confusion over whether we were going to acknowledge what happened to Hunter Biden, son of President Joe Biden, and the fact that he has basically um, taken ownership of what he has done wrong. Got caught doing it, obviously. So there's going to be some hair pulling and hair on fire from the well, what about crowd. Um, but at the same time, the guy did something wrong, and he's owing up to it. Now, is it we've got time to talk about this because it just happened today, and we are going to be talking about it. I don't want to. Mo, how are you, man? Good to see you, um, and good to see everybody. Thank you all for being here. A lot of stuff tonight, as we've had over the past few days, and uh, we're going to talk about some of the things we briefly touched on last night. We're going to touch on those things again. We're going to talk about throughout the episode Hunter Biden, and Hunter Biden has been indicted, or is going to plead guilty. So just so that you know, I hope I've acknowledged more than enough on here that I'm totally aware of bad in both parties, and try to just. It's hard with Trump. I can't with Trump. I just can't. I never have been able to. But other than Trump, I really try to kind of keep things in the middle. So let's start out. Where is it? Let's start out with our breaking news here. Looking at our headlines, some okay. This is Associated Press, AP News, not Anarchy Princess. 5 people on the missing Titanic tourist sub have less than 2 days of oxygen left. Um, Calling it a sub um, is stretching it from what I've been reading. The thing's controlled by a PlayStation video game controller. Um, you, I don't know. I don't. Anyway, um, BBC News: Hunter Biden to plead guilty to tax crimes and admit gun offense. See, we've already talked about it 3 different times. Politico: the judge strikes down an Arkansas ban on gender affirming care for young people. And YouTube has a live going on. President Biden's discussing opportunities and risks of AI. They had it going on. It was 2 hours ago. Um, Again, I, if I let my feelings out, I try to say, okay, this is what I feel, this is what I think. Otherwise, I just kind of present the stuff. Um, is let's is Joe Biden the one to be discussing AI? And I'll just leave it at that. I don't think I'm the one to be discussing AI, and I think I might know more about it. I'm just saying. The Financial Times headline is Chinese spy facilities in Cuba are serious concern, says Blinken. Got something else coming from Blinken that's really confusing when we get into the bookmarks of our Twitter posts for today. Tropical storm Brett moves closer to the Caribbean, but will it turn into a hurricane? Will Brett become a hurricane? We just have to wait and see. Going to hop over to the bookmarks real quick, and we will buzz through these. We got a lot of stuff that we're going to be talking, like I said, talking more in depth about. And now that we're on the bookmarks, if you were with us last night, you saw Trey Crowder. If you weren't with us tonight or weren't with us last night, you're going to see Trey Crowder. If you were with us last night, you're going to see him again. Only not the same thing we saw last night. He's got a brand new one that just came out today. And guess what it's about? All right. This is from Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Unfortunately, Kodak's daddy was not president, and he's not white. This is her response in a tweet to Henry Rogers, who said Kodak Black's lawyer, mentioning Hunter Biden, as I say, we're going to do it throughout the episode, says Kodak was charged for the same crime and had to serve 3 years in jail for it. Her response, Kodak's daddy's not president and he's not white. So she just had to throw in the, by the way, you're not white. I don't know. Here is, I'm just going to read Ron Filipkowski's response. Kodak Black had been previously charged with rape. He got his charge reduced to 2 misdemeanors and got probation. He then later made false statements to acquire weapons and got prison. He then got paid a lot of money to get a pardon. He then paid a lot of money to get a pardon from Trump. Probably not an example to cite. So, there you go. Once again, this is from Scootercaster. There's no backup, no escape pod. It's get to the surface or die. And this is from a journalist that actually went down to the Titanic in this thing. It's let's see. His trip to the Titan sub, which is made of abandoned pipes, operated by PlayStation controller, has 90 hours of oxygen and is sealed shut and opens only from the outside. Anybody that builds capsules, Apollo 1. Okay, really confused about this, and that a conservative is throwing this into libs' faces. What do you have to say about that, libs? Is Sleepy Joe Biden smart enough to? Is Sleepy Joe Biden smart enough to go on TV and confess to crimes he committed while on trial for other different crimes? Many people are very strongly saying Trump up big in crimes committed. MAGA. Supposedly this is an authenticated tweet, or I should say Truth Social. All right, I'm going to pause here for just a second because, we're going to talk tonight about some of the stuff we talked about last night. The idea that military is stationing places, we're going to talk on that. The idea that aliens are acceptable now. I mean, and I talked about this. This is a soft opening kind of thing. When this started a couple of months ago, I'm like, hey, they're just kind of breaking it in, and they're going to have to do it quick because once you start it, eventually, everything comes out. What is it? Pandora's box. Um, and and we've got this is going to sound like Art Bell or a combination of Art Bell and Mel Gibson in conspiracy theory and any other thing you can think of as I say this to you. But all of these things are happening at the same time. Okay, um, we've got supposedly troops being dispersed. And we'll get into the validity of that. We've got um, aliens being accepted. We've got AI suddenly. It's either the greatest thing in the world or it's the death of mankind. Robots and the past 5 years, let alone decade, the past 5 years, the advancement in technology has been phenomenal. Um, the growth is just like exponential, and it keeps happening in AI. Anyway, all of these things going on at the same time, or in within the same time frame. And I was talking with someone, and I said, "Look, if aliens were coming, and we had advanced knowledge of it, wouldn't humanity wouldn't the leaders of the world make peace amongst themselves as rapidly as possible and start preparing for a defense if that is what it's going to be, or is this a peaceful um, arrival? If it's going to be a hostile takeover and we're aware of it, I would think all the leaders would go, hey, what are we doing? What are we doing here?" Um, and that China would want to be peaceful, and America would want to be peaceful, and Russia and everybody would want to focus our efforts and technologies elsewhere. With all that being said, I, I, I saw this 3 hours ago from Moshe Schwartz, and how, 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 how? Someone explain it to me, please, like I'm 5 years old. The Pentagon says it overestimated the value of weapons it has sent to Ukraine by $6.2 billion dollars, resulting in a surplus that will be used for future security packages. All of a sudden, they find $6.2 billion, and of course, instead of doing anything or even considering anything else, we're going to make sure we pump it into the war machine. Not that I don't want Ukraine to win. Don't get me wrong. Just uh, is that in? I mean, how inept is the government? Um, okay, and I had to have something amusing after this. Okay, because I've already been through that once with myself. How could this happen? This is just what it is. This is just like I said, a little something of an amusing nature. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. I can't do the soundtrack. Sorry. But for anybody that knows, um, this is somebody with an extensive collection of toys, and including an actual Evil Knievel um, jumper, obviously, and a successful jump. He lost his helmet before, but nonetheless flies through the air over the Rock'em Sock'em robots, happens to hit the truck and kills the cameraman, but the cameraman got the shot. That's what's important. And he stays on the bike and drives out into the run out lane. All right, I promised Trey Crowder, and I said Trey put something out today, and hold on just a second. We do want volume on this. If you've never heard him, this is the redneck liberal redneck. This is from Tennessee, Trey Crowder.
Well, Joe Biden's weaponized Justice Department has found its latest target. His own son, Hunter Biden? Damn, he must be even more ruthless than y'all thought, huh? No, but that's not how the right sees it, of course. They're apoplectic because they say Hunter's getting off easy while their baby King Trump is having the book thrown at him. Yeah, well, for one thing, the crimes involved are pretty different. Hunter's charges relate to not paying his taxes and having a gun he wasn't supposed to have. You know, crackhead stuff. And they say that any old garden variety run-of-the-mill crackhead would be facing much harsher punishments than the president's son is. Oh, you don't say? Yeah, no shit. What are you, new here? This is America. The rich and powerful play by different rules than the rest of us, okay? John Fogerty been singing that song since 1969, buddy. I mean, that's the reason many of us were saying for years we never actually expected Trump to face any repercussions for his actions. That's just not a thing that happens here. Right? And not for nothing, it still remains to be seen whether it's actually going to happen in this case or not. Like, they really ain't done much to your boy yet. All right? And he probably wouldn't even be facing any charges if he wasn't the Stephen King of doing dumb crime. The man is prolific and exceptional, y'all. And as far as double standards, you can bet your ass that any old garden variety run-of-the-mill state secret stealer would be getting waterboarded at a black site right now, not teeing off on 18, okay? He's still going to get off pretty easy, considering he put American lives at risk on multiple occasions. But it's not just Hunter Biden's punishment that they're mad about. They also think he should be facing more charges overall. They say there's more corruption there. Burisma, dark money, undue influence. Meanwhile, Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, gets $2 billion brand new oil-stained Saudi blood money dollars right around the same time Trump himself is doing the Scrooge McDuck into a vault filled with Middle Eastern war plans. But yeah, nothing to see there. Seems to me that double standards abound these days, but here's one you won't see. People on the left pissing and moaning over Hunter Biden's punishment while they cheer on Trump's legal downfall. Not going to happen. You know why? Because either way, red or blue, if they did the shit, take them down. It really is just that simple.
Really
I mean,
is.
Given that you actually believe in things like the U.S. Constitution or the concept of justice anyway.
Yeah.
Love y'all.
Excellent. Excellent. As always, Trey Crowder. There we go. Trae Crowder. You just joined us. Break Pentagon says accounting error provides an extra $6.2 billion for Ukraine military aid. I don't know, maybe this will make you feel old. Maybe this will make you feel young. Maybe this will make you feel like movies have really advanced. Maybe it'll make you feel like this was the scariest movie I ever saw. 48 years ago today, dun 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 dun, Jaws was released. I remember seeing it for the first time. I saw it in Daytona Beach, Florida, and my friend and I wouldn't go into the ocean unless we were back to back after that to make sure we had 360 vision, make sure we each had our other six. We didn't know what it meant at the time. Mike Pence had documents that were classified, Brett Baer, and he turned them over. Trump, no, he didn't turn them over. He got caught. We're going to listen to a little bit of an interview, actually a couple of segments of an interview that was on Fox News last night. For those of us who do not watch Fox News, Brett Baer did the interview, did something that people at Fox had to get a dictionary out and figure out what it was he was doing. He was fact checking. It was amazing. And we're going to listen to a little bit of it in a couple of different segments here. Here's the first one.
Your Vice President Mike Pence says he's, quote, deeply troubled by what's in the indictment. And he says, quote, the indictment contains serious charges and I cannot defend what's alleged.
Mike Pence had documents that were classified.
And he turned them over.
No, he didn't turn them over. He got caught. His lawyers found some documents, and then he turned them over. Why did he have them? He shouldn't be saying that because he had classified documents. And
Oh, darn. Hold on a second. Well, you get the gist of that one because we've got a couple of more coming up. That's my bad, my bad, my bad. Inflation, what inflation? Here's a mom.
It's not even wine yet. This is $10. This just cost me $10. It's not even wine yet. It's just the regular old grapes. This is one sitting. My 3 children will eat this in one sitting. Is there a commissioner? Is there somebody that I could call for the price of grapes? I mean, it's not even alcohol yet. It's in its fruit form. Why is this so damn expensive? Honestly, this was $9.96. How are we supposed to feed these children all the... Oh, it's nature's candy. This is $10.
Okay. Grapes. What are you going to do? This one I don't want to. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Okay. I want to get cut off in the middle of. I know it's a really short one, but nonetheless. On. All right. I don't think this has background music. Are we ready?
Going to come early today, and I'm about to hide in that trash can and scare him. Scare cam!
I don't know. I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's fake. But I do know. Don't do that for views. Okay, that's we had an episode of what they do for views. Don't do that for views. If it is an edit, it's a really good edit. It could be done very easily, but because of the lid shut, there's where that edit probably would have come in. Anyway, just wanted to. Okay, now a warning about this. This is a rather graphic video, and this is not being shown to condone violence. It's just being shown to show that it's a dark world. It's a dangerous world, and sometimes if you UFO. We got to get rid of the volume. There we go. All right. Hold on. So basically, what has happened? This guy was riding on the back of this bike. He had a gun. Pointed the gun and threatened this guy to get off of his bike. The guy gets off his bike, and okay, here we go, and we run it. Guy gets off his bike, runs away, gets behind a pole for safety, pulls out his own gun, and make sure that those two do not get away. Again, showing you things that can happen and do happen. Now this is our doofus of the week, right here, and just a reminder: don't be a doofus.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Get in your car, dude.
Get in your car!
I'm in my car. That's fair. That's fair. Can you?
That's a fair point. The climate of our country, the climate in the world, lots of rage, lots of anger, and we need to make people aware that it's out there, and we also need to try to see if we can't diffuse it a little bit. That's just my opinion. Okay, in order to restore public trust, the Attorney General twiddles his thumbs, according to Calvarist, and there it is, which at least distinguishes him from his predecessor. Too long didn't read. Merrick Garland protected Donald Trump. We lost a year at least. And again, I'm bringing this up just as something to think about. Why has it taken so long? January 6, 2021. We had January 6, 2022. We had January 6, 2023. There are charges against an awful lot of other people. Seems to be a lot of evidence. I'm not a lawyer. I'm just asking the question that a lot of people are asking: why is it taking? Why has it taken so long? Okay, the highlighted part here: Garland and the Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco charted a cautious course aimed at restoring public trust in the Department of Justice. That's it shouldn't had to be restored. It only had to be restored, I guess, in their mind because of the previous administration. But while some prosecutors below them chafed, feeling top officials were shying away from looking at evidence of potential crimes by Trump and those close to him. And this is from the Washington Post. Okay, I said we're going to have some bits from last night's Brett Baer interview on Fox News, where he actually fact-checked the former president. Okay, wait a second here. Let's give him and I give him props for the way he conducted this interview. Very rarely do I do that from anybody on that channel, because no, I generally don't listen to them because I don't take them serious. They're not they don't have a moral compass for journalism.
That female independent suburban voter who feels that way, to win her back.
First of all, I won in 2020 by a lot, okay? Let's get that straight. I won in 2020.
You know that this,
and if you look at all...
Okay, notice what he does there. I won in 2020. I won by a lot, okay? Let's get that straight first. Because everything else is predicated on that big lie. Remember, we've talked about propaganda and the 10 commandments of propaganda. One of them is the bigger the lie, the more you have to tell it, but the easier it becomes to believe. And then once that big lie is out there, the enemy becomes the truth. And a lot of people getting stomped on for truth lately. Just something to think about. All right, let's continue here.
Look at everything that you want to look at. You take a look at Truth to Vote, where they have people stuffing the ballot boxes on tapes. Or let's go to recent. Well, wait a minute. Let's go to recent. FBI Twitter. Let's go to recent. The 51 agents, all corrupt stuff, Brett.
Understand about the Hunter Biden,
no, but
all
that's cheating
fair
on the
things.
election.
But
That's cheating on the election.
you lost the 2020 election.
Brett, you take a look at all of the stuffed ballots. You take a look at all of the things, including things like the 51 intelligence agents.
There were recounts in all of the swing states. There was not significant widespread
We're trying to get recounts, real
There were
recounts, not just numbers of votes.
widespread
cast.
corruption. There was not a sense of that. There were lawsuits, more than 50 of them, by your lawyers, some in front of judges that you appointed.
Look at Wisconsin.
That came out with no evidence.
Wisconsin has practically admitted it was rigged. Other states are doing the same right now, and it's continuing on.
There have been
It was
reviews
a
of
rigged
every
election.
potential case of voter fraud in 6 battleground states, and they found fewer than 475 cases.
You know why?
that
Because
was
they
not
didn't
affected.
look at the right things.
Okay,
Brett.
are you?
The majority of voter fraud, the majority by a wide margin that was found was Republicans committing voter fraud. He wouldn't say that, but I feel like maybe it should be injected here.
They were counting ballots, not the authenticity of the ballot. The ballots were fake ballots. This was a very rigged
Are you
election.
going to go? This is how you're going to tell that independent suburban woman voter
No.
to vote for
We're
you?
off to winning an election, and I think we're winning very well. I got a poll just recently. I have it here.
No, I know, and I watched the numbers.
Okay, that's our first little bit there.
What do you say to that female independent
again,
suburban voter?
What do you say to that female independent suburban voter to get her back? I think we got a segment coming up where he talks about how, I know we do, from the Lincoln Project. This, just in case you were curious, what goes on when they aren't carrying banners. They congregate outside and try to intimidate with the Sig Heil. Again, let's. Oh wait. There you go. You're not going to see this on the mainstream news kind of stuff. And it's only here because I want you to think for yourselves and just showing you things that you will not otherwise possibly see, including this. And again, I'm going to pull this up from Aaron Parnas on Twitter, but Brett Baer from Fox News. Okay. Again, he fact-checked him.
Please,
and
please,
kudos.
Could we have it back?
And they
Please,
asked for this.
because they have no. We
They
were
did ask
talking.
for it.
No, and
They said,
I gave
"Can you
them
give the
some,
documents back?"
and we were talking.
And then they said they went to DOJ to subpoena you to get them
Which
back.
they've never done before.
Right.
And in
But
all
why not
fairness,
just hand them over then?
Because I had
Never had to
boxes.
do
I
it
wanna go
before.
through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to Nara yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Yeah, but
I've been
according to
very,
the
very
indictment,
busy.
you then tell this aide to move to other
Been
locations.
very, very busy.
After telling your lawyers to say you'd fully complied with the subpoena when you hadn't.
But before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things, golf shirts, clothing, pants, shoes. There were many things. I would say
Around Warland?
much more, not that I know of, but everything was declassified. And Biden didn't have the right to do that because he wasn't president. Nor did Mike Pence, by the way, have the right to do that because he wasn't president.
All right, I'm not going to.
Please, could we
Please.
Yeah, he opened that by saying that all the National Archives would have had to do to get the government's papers back was just say please, 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 and let him get his golf shirts and pants and dirty undies out. I mentioned earlier, if you were watching, and if you're still with us, hello, thank you for being here. Something that I found troubling from Secretary Anthony Blinken, we do not support Taiwan independence. This
We
is
continue
a
to expect the peaceful.
this is a brand new development
Taiwan,
as far as
I
I'm
reiterated the
concerned.
long-standing U.S. One China policy. That policy has not changed. It's guided by the Taiwan Relations Act, the 3 joint communiques, the 6 assurances. We do not support Taiwan independence. We remain opposed to any unilateral changes to the status quo by either side. We continue to expect the peaceful resolution of cross-strait differences.
Okay, so again, that kind of language isn't that's not off the cuff. That's well thought out. Um, okay, this we got to do this one too. This is the last one. This is the last clip I'm going to do from the Fox News interview conducted by Brett Baer, fact checking the former president of the United States. And
In
here we
2016,
go.
you said that. I'm going to surround myself with only the best and most serious people.
Well, I did do that, and
This
we had
time-
tremendous, look, we had the best economy we've ever had,
This
the world
time-
has ever seen.
Your Vice President, Mike Pence, is running against you.
Yeah.
Your Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, she's running against you. Your former Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, said he's not supporting you. You mentioned National Security Advisor John Bolton. He's not supporting you either. You mentioned Attorney General Bill Barr, says you shouldn't be president again, calls you the consummate narcissist and troubled man. You recently called Barr a gutless pig. Your second Defense Secretary is not supporting you, called you irresponsible. White House Chief of Staff John Kelly, weak and ineffective and born with a very small brain. You called your staff Mick Mulvaney a born loser. You called your first Secretary of State Rex Tillerson dumb as a rock, and your first Defense Secretary James Mattis the world's most overrated general. You called your White House Press Secretary Kayleigh milquetoast, and multiple times you've referred to your Transportation Secretary Elaine Chao as Mitch McConnell's China-loving wife. So, why did you hire all of them in the first place?
Because I hired 10 to 1 that were fantastic. We had a great economy. We had phenomenal people in charge of the economy. We had phenomenal people in the military. I'm not a fan of Milley, and I'm not a fan of certain of the television people. But I knocked out ISIS. I defeated ISIS. They said, Mattis, it would take 3 years, and I don't think we can do it. I did it in a period of like 4 weeks.
There's a lot of people who praise you for your policies. I just said that.
That's true. Well, I mean, you just went through a list. But don't forget, for every one you say, I had 10 that love us. And one thing happens, I find, with...
Okay, so we're only hearing, the, hold on a second, we're only hearing the really bad ones.
In 2016, you said that. I'm going...
Just happen to be an awful lot of key positions from Secretary of Defense to Chief of Staff to Vice President even. And a reminder that yesterday was indeed Juneteenth, Freedom Day. And there was, unfortunately, there was violence in various parts of the country. And too often. Okay, hold on a second. One of the streams is having connection issues. Stand by. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you again for clicking on. Thank you for being here. We got some other things to talk about here. We got through the bookmarks. I just wanted to get back over here to the chat real quick, and let's see if I can get down to the bottom of the chat and see who's in here. Oh, daggone it! I'm not going to do that anymore. I just shut it down. I just closed for some reason there. All right. Some reason I was closing my studio down. All right. I've mentioned the Lincoln Project before. The Lincoln Project is a Republican organization that has a lot of trouble with Donald Trump. This is their latest. And, okay, make sure we're sharing.
They went to DOJ to subpoena you to get them
Which
back.
they've never done before.
Right.
And in
But
all
why not
fairness-
just hand them over then?
Because I have boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to Nara yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Yeah, but
I've been
according to
very,
the
very
indictment,
busy.
you then tell this aide to move to other locations after telling your lawyers to say you'd fully complied with the subpoena when you hadn't.
But before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things. Golf shirts, clothing, pants, shoes. There were many things. I would say
Iran war
much. I had boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to Nara yet.
Just one of the, there we go. One of the things from the Lincoln Project. Let me bounce back here and see if the okay, that's Rats. We played that one the other night. Okay, the best people. So basically, they're taking the Lincoln Project is taking the Fox News interview and just dissecting it into. Hold on, wait a minute. Into sorry. Lincoln Project is taking just 1 minute segments of Trump and just basically cutting promos against him using his own words and his own interviews. So that is not successful politics. Okay, I had this queued up for last night, and we're segueing now. We're going to get away from Trump for a little bit. I had this queued up last night, and I accidentally shut it. I accidentally deleted it before or closed it before playing it. President to reveal aliens and UFOs this summer. Here's why. All right. Before I get to this, this is from a Turkish broadcasting service. And before I get to this, I mentioned earlier all this stuff's going around. Saturday, a whole bunch of people contacted me, and where's it at? Did I? No. Okay. All right. There's. Okay, I didn't pull it up. All right. And I had contact from a lot of people about what's going on, what's happening militarily with troops and stuff around the country, and I got a couple of things that I want to share here. Okay, before I get into the alien thing. Because a lot of people are automatically assuming that if troops, a lot of people are assuming if these troops are being moved around, it's because of an insurrection, it's because of martial law, or it's because of Chinese invasion. All right, those are the three main things I've been seeing, and a lot of the movements have been able to be explained, not all of them. Is the information I'm about to share factual? I don't know. I'm just sharing it because I'm kind of letting you know this is what is out there on the internet. And I'll say this much. This is what is in part of the right wing of the internet. The first post is military in 21 cities right now. And that is confirmed with a yep, and then someone else questions why. And then update regarding the ongoing military missions being reported across many states in the United States. There are military missions being reported all over the states over the last 7 to 10 days. Again, many of these have been confirmed as prearranged drills, um, and I don't know about the validity of this. For instance, I don't know what 21 states or what did it say, states or cities? Um, in 21 cities. I don't know what 21 cities the military's in. I know they drove through Philadelphia, but I don't think they, parked out by Veterans Stadium or anything. I don't know. They may be. Anyway, there are there are many reports over the last 7 to 10 days, and they are not drills. Only the military knows what's going on. We need to remain patient and allow the military to do what they are being called to do. We must continue to stand up and speak the truth and pray for our military. This is not a time to panic and react irrationally to what the military is doing. Some people may react irrationally when they start to see military tanks, heavy military equipment going down city streets, and even military aircraft landing in residential areas. We also need to pray for those who are not ready for what is to come. Um, Again, chances are this is just, somebody adding to the um, incredible mud pit of what social media can become, especially if you're looking for truth or things like that. However, um, at some point, somebody is going to know something, and um, while there's been a lot of fun being poked at anyone who said why are their troops. I've had some former military asking me what's going on. All right, so um, we just kind of have to wait and see. But nonetheless, we have to keep an open mind. All right. Um, Too often, some people might automatically assume the government is always good and benevolent and doing the right things. And if history has shown us anything, it's that that's not always the case. That's why we have a Bill of Rights. That's why we have those first 10 amendments so that those things at least are spelled out. And an amendment that says, and we should have other rights, and they shouldn't have to be all written down. Um, but, so, with that being said, I'm not going to play the whole. I'm not going to play the whole 25 minutes of this thing by any stretch of the imagination. But just a little bit of what could be actually going on. This is a whistleblower. This is someone supposedly with inside information.
Yeah. How many? Quite a number. You're kidding. No.
Amazing claims from a former member of the American intelligence services, David Grush. He says that we are not alone. Aliens do exist, and they have visited Earth. The US government has hard evidence, he says, in the form of several spacecraft and even alien bodies. He claims the US government has been hiding all of this from the public as part of a sophisticated disinformation campaign. Now, for years, those claiming these strange sightings were aliens were treated as cranks and conspiracy theorists. Now it appears they may have been right all along.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone.
UFOs exist. The U.S. government found quite a number of them, and they are indeed of non-human origin.
The whistleblower's shocking new claims about our country's research into UFOs.
The bombshell claim about UFOs. A former U.S. intelligence official, an Air Force veteran, claims a top-secret program is withholding evidence of alien spacecraft.
David Grush. Let's find out who he is.
Boy, it was okay until anyway.
What his credentials were.
He's a decorated veteran. He's described as beyond reproach. It's not just him, it's multiple intelligence officials who have reported on this to Congress.
He essentially said that they are illegally hiding it from Congress and they are illegally hiding it from the American people, but they have off-world craft in possession.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
You're kidding.
No. I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse. People started confiding in me. They approached me. I have plenty of current and former senior intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me they were a part of a program. They named the program. I've never heard of it. And they told me, based on their oral testimony, and they provided me documents and other proof.
If you're right, if you're telling us the truth, everyone, the entire American public, has been lied to for decades.
Yeah, there's a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral.
Do we have bodies? Do we have species of
Well,
non-humans?
naturally, when you recover something that's either landed or crashed, sometimes you encounter dead pilots. And believe it or not, as fantastical as that sounds, it's true.
Okay. Again, this comes from Nexus, Nexus, and something I wanted to share last night because of all of the okay, there we go. I wanted to share last night because of all of the talk about tanks and troops deploying inside the USA and Canada. Here was one of the sites, Black Scout Survival. Wait a minute. Okay, that's true, but we don't want to go here yet. Here is where we want to go.
As such, his white.
Well, right there. All right.
Knock, knock. Hi
Okay.
there.
A commercial. Totally lost my train of thought. I'll get it back here in just a second. Get rid of the commercial and leave this set up. There we go. No, I want to go one more. Okay. Let's see if we can do that. All right. Again, people automatically jump to conclusions that if U.S. is moving troops, it's because of they're going to be a threat against the people. The troops are, and I get that. Again, the United States government's not always the most trusted, but I heard from too many people that said, hey, there could be something coming to do with aliens. So I found this, again, as we segue, I found this. I haven't watched it yet. I watched the first 8. This is called List 25. And these are 25 conspiracy theories, the top 25 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. I don't know what the top 10 are, but we're going to try to watch them here and see if aliens is one of them. Okay, we'll start with 8. We'll just do 8.
Or a young girl known only as Nira testified about Iraqi crimes before the Congress.
Okay, yeah, this is can someone's testimony send a country falsely to war?
A fake testimony to influence a war. In 1990, in the months running up to the Gulf War, a young girl known only as Naira testified about Iraqi crimes before the Congressional Human Rights Caucus. She told several tall tales about how the invading Iraqis treated Kuwaitis, horrifying Congress members. Although many people died due to Iraq's invasion, her statement was 100% made up. She was the ambassador's daughter to the United States, and her statement was part of a public relations campaign named Citizens for a Free Kuwait, organized by the public relations firm Hill and Knowlton. 7. John Wilkes Booth didn't act alone. According to popular belief, actor John Wilkes Booth assassinated President Lincoln on his own inside Ford's Theater. However, Booth conspired with no fewer than 9 additional co-conspirators, including Mary Surratt, the first woman hanged by the US government. One of the co-conspirators includes George Astaroth, who failed in his assassination attempt on Vice President Andrew Johnson. Meanwhile, co-conspirator Lewis Powell also tried to assassinate Secretary of State William Seward, wounding him badly. 6. The US government employed Nazi scientists after World War II. Following Germany's surrender in World War II, over 1,600 Nazi scientists were sent to work in the US. In 1946, the scheme, known as Operation Paperclip, was exposed to the media, most notably in the New York Times. Some of these researchers worked on Project MK-Ultra. Wernher von Braun was a former Nazi participant in this program. He made his mark in the US by being part of the moon landing and designing the Jupiter-C rocket that launched America's first satellite. He also became a director within the Development Operations Division of the Army Ballistic Missile Agency. 5. The government has a heart attack gun. This entry probably should have been right after the CIA hitmen, but we felt it needed to shine independently. The CIA revealed their secret weapon capable of causing fatal heart attacks in 1975. It works by firing a little poison dart through clothing, leaving nothing except a tiny red dot on the skin. The dart disintegrates on impact, leaving just a little sting comparable to an insect bite. An autopsy can't reveal the toxin since it deteriorates too fast. As a result, the CIA can carry out assassinations that can not be linked to them. Lovely. 4. The government can control your mood. Unfortunately, this conspiracy theory, which also turned out to be true, redefines the term make love not war. One of the non-lethal compounds explored by the US Defense Department to disrupt enemy morale and discipline was the gay bomb. The 1994 study aimed to develop a weapon that would douse opposing troops in female pheromones. The goal was to make soldiers sexually attracted to one another, which would reduce their fighting efficiency. However, it was never pursued. Or so they say. 3. The government can control the weather. Yes, your government can manipulate the weather. To some extent, anyway. During the war in Vietnam, the CIA would seed the clouds to increase the amount of rain during the monsoon season. According to the CIA, this technique was used between 1967 and 1972 to wash off roads and cause destructive landslides, preventing North Vietnamese troops from moving their weapons and supplies. 2. The Russians don't really have Hitler's skull. For decades, it was assumed that Hitler committed suicide after World War II. Still, many conspiracy theorists believed it was a sham and that he had slipped away at the last moment. Hitler's skull fragment obtained from the bunker where he supposedly died was in the possession of the Russian authorities. In 2009, Russian authorities conducted testing on the skull fragment. The alarming findings revealed that the skull fragment belonged to a young woman, not a man. Ironically, the tests were conducted to undermine the credibility of the conspiracy theorists claiming he had gone into hiding. 1. The government knows where the aliens are. Our government has been fascinated by UFOs for a long time, despite years of denial, and even had a program looking for UFOs as late as 2011. The 5-year Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program gathered video and audio evidence of UFOs and built storage facilities to store any alien objects. While the Pentagon denies that such efforts are still taking place, the program's director, Luis Elizondo, claims they are. And if today's list has taught us anything, we'd rather believe Lewis's slip of the tongue than the Pentagon's denial. So, what are some of your favorite conspiracy theories? And you know what? Bonus points if they ended up coming true.
Yeah, it's only a conspiracy theory until it comes true. All right. I want to come back here and bring Robert Reich in for just a couple of quick segments before we get to the actual end part here. Let's see. This is, does the Constitution ban Trump from running again? Something that should be considered, I believe. Not only should it, maybe it should not be just left to popular vote. I don't know. You decide.
Donald Trump should not be allowed on the ballot. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment prohibits anyone who has held public office and taken an oath to protect the Constitution from holding office again if they, quote, have engaged in insurrection against the United States. This key provision was enacted after the Civil War to prevent those who rose up against our democracy from ever being allowed to hold office again. This applies to Donald Trump. He cannot again be entrusted with public office. He led an insurrection. He refused to concede the results of the 2020 election, claiming it was stolen. Even when many in his own inner circle, including his own attorney general, told him it was not.
I told him that the stuff that his people were shoveling out to the public was bullshit. I mean, that the claims of fraud were bullshit.
Trump then pushed state officials to change vote counts, hatched a plot to name fake electors, tried to pressure his vice president into refusing to certify the Electoral College votes, had his allies seek access to voting machine data, and summoned his supporters to attack the Capitol on January 6th to disrupt the formal recognition of the presidential election results.
We fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
And then he waited hours, reportedly watching the violence on TV before telling his supporters to go home, despite pleas from his staff, Republican lawmakers, and even Fox News. If this is not the behavior of an insurrectionist, I don't know what is. Can there be any doubt that Trump will again try to do whatever it takes to regain power, even if it's illegal and unconstitutional? If anything, given all the MAGA election deniers in Congress and in the states, Trump is even less constrained than he was in 2020, and more power hungry.
In 2016, I declared, I am your voice. Today I add, I am your warrior, I am your justice. And for those who have been wronged and betrayed, I am your retribution.
Trump could face criminal charges for inciting an insurrection, but that's not necessary to bar him from the ballot. Secretaries of state and other election officials across the country have the power to determine whether candidates meet the qualifications for office. They have a constitutional duty to keep Trump off the ballot, based on the clear text of the U.S. Constitution. Now, some might argue that voters should be able to decide for themselves whether candidates are fit for office, even if they're dangerous. But the Constitution sets the bar for what disqualifies someone from being president. Candidates must be at least 35 years old and a natural-born U.S. citizen, and they must not have engaged in insurrection after they previously took an oath to defend the Constitution. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment has already been used to disqualify an insurrectionist from continuing to hold public office in New Mexico, with the state Supreme Court upholding the ruling. This is not about partisanship. If a Democrat attempts to overthrow the government, they should not be allowed on ballots either. Election officials must keep Donald Trump off the ballot in 2024. Democracy cannot survive if insurrectionists hold power in our government. So please, visit the link below to do your part keeping Donald Trump off.
Again, moveon.org. That is Robert Reich. And pardon me. My gosh. He's got one more here. One more short one we're going to look at real quick. This is the GOP's assault on LGBTQ existence. And again, this is something to think about.
Republicans don't seem to care that Ronald Reagan once starred in a film that featured a prominent drag scene, or that Rudy Giuliani did a skit in drag with Donald Trump. Suddenly, they're trying to ban or restrict drag performances in at least 15 states, with bills so broadly worded that advocates warn they could be used not only to prosecute drag performers, but also transgender people who dare to simply exist in public. These bans are part of a cynical campaign to demonize the LGBTQ community. MAGA politicians are stoking fear over imaginary dangers to distract from how their policies only help themselves and their wealthy donors. In the first half of 2023 alone, Republicans across the nation introduced a record number of bills to strip away freedoms and civil rights from LGBTQ Americans, largely targeting transgender and banning gender-affirming care for minors. GOP lawmakers are effectively practicing medicine without a license, overruling the guidance of doctors, the American Medical Association, and the American Academy of Pediatrics. And they're lying about what gender-affirming care even is.
They're literally chopping off the private parts of young kids.
Wait. Genital surgery is rarely, if ever, done under the age of 18. It's not even all that common for adults. DeSantis is lying about it to scare people. And the Republican presidential frontrunner has made it clear that trans people have no place in his vision of America.
I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth.
MAGA lawmakers and pundits falsely claim trans people and drag performers are a danger to children and the public at large, when there is no evidence at all to support that. None. Trans people are in fact 4 times more likely to be the victims of violent crime. These scare tactics are dangerous. Recent analysis found a 70% increase in hate crimes against LGBTQ Americans between 2020 and 2021, as the surge of these bills began. And that's only counting the hate crimes that were reported. 2020 and 2021 each set a new record for the number of trans people murdered in America. The cruelest irony is that these Republican bills pretending to protect children actually puts some of the most vulnerable children at greater risk. LGBTQ kids are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide, especially transgender children. Gender-affirming care reduces that risk. That's why it's life-saving. Don't say gay laws strip away potentially life-saving support. A teacher discussing sexual orientation and gender identity won't turn a straight kid gay, but it will make an LGBTQ student 23% less likely to attempt suicide. The tragic truth is that don't say gay laws and healthcare bans will cause more young lives to be needlessly lost. If Republicans really cared about protecting kids, they'd focus on gun violence, now the leading cause of death for American children. If they were really worried about children undergoing life-altering medical procedures, they wouldn't pass abortion bans that force teens to give birth or risk back alley procedures. What the GOP's vendetta against the LGBTQ community really is a classic authoritarian tactic to vilify already marginalized people. They're trying to stoke so much paranoia and hatred that we don't notice how they're consolidating power and wealth into the hands of a ruling few. We need to see this attack on LGBTQ Americans for what it is, a threat to all of our human rights.
Oh, again, that's comes from Robert Reich. Where do we go? Okay. Whoa! As soon as I click on it, automatically starts. He went to 2 different. Okay, this is the one I said we were going to show last night, and I realized that okay, Windows security. All right, I have shown this video before, so I'm not going to show the whole thing. This guy, this kid, this young man. Grew up in Philadelphia, and I'm just going to play the start of this. He is a right-wing leaning channel host, I guess you would say. And I have another one that I want to play that is also from a right-leaning channel, but is something that you're going to find very interesting, and I just want you to hear a little bit from this guy.
and that it often determines who wins the whole presidential election. I went to 2 different grocery stores, a Whole Foods and a Wegmans. The horrible thing is that I can immediately tell the politics of the grocery store within 20 seconds. Whole Foods put a massive emphasis on organic, free trade, or vegetarian foods. The people dress differently in both places, and I actually got weird looks for dressing as I normally do. I could go on like 15 other things, where we're at the point where conservatives and progressives talk, dress, worship, teach, eat, love, and literally about everything else differently.
Okay, this is the main premise of why he thinks there will be another civil war, because the right and the left are different in so many ways, in all of the basic ways is what he's saying. Food, vegetarian, traditional Western, meat and potatoes, clothes, casual, streetwear, formal, traditional, worship. I see a lot of people on the right that are in anything but formal or traditional or modest clothes or dark collars. I'm just saying. A lot of generalities here. Religious experience comes through furthering progressive causes for oppressed groups in the public sphere. Worship comes from traditional religion. Sex and love, kinky, non-hetero, normative, equal between men and women. Consent is very important. Consent should be very important. Consent is... all right. Vanilla, heteronormative, follows traditional male-female gender roles. Art exists to challenge social assumptions. Art exists to fulfill traditional expectations. A teacher exists to empower their students. They will teach them how to change the world. Teaching exists to prepare students to be stable members of society, knowing about their society's ethics and useful skills. So, indeed, if these hold true, there are a lot of differences in how things are looked at. Hang on. All right. This is the one that we're going to play. We got about enough time here to play this one. This is a second civil war a real threat?
Okay, so not that I'm old or anything, but
actually,
in my lifetime,
crap, I just deleted it.
Have gotten a lot more tense. When I was growing up, it was pretty common to treat political affiliation more like sports fandom, i.e.
I've played this one too. I didn't play the whole thing, but I've played this one too. This isn't the one I thought it was. My apologies. My apologies to everybody. We'll do that on the next one, the one I'm going to play, because the one I'm going to play is from a guy, again, a right-leaning guy. These two are both right-leaning, but this one has civil war being started by the Democrats, which is one that I hadn't seen before. So we'll do that next time I'm on, probably Thursday, the way it's looking now. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, and thank you all for watching very much. I believe G. Abbott back in the basement. G. Abbott's going to be coming up here soon. If you're looking for something to watch, and again, hit the subscribe button, please. Hit the like button. It really does make a difference in the analog and getting the channel out there and all that kind of stuff. And hit the subscribe, hit the notification so you'll know when we're on. I think Thursday we'll probably be back on. But again, a lot of stuff to think about tonight. Aliens becoming acceptable. Artificial intelligence. There's going to be a new Beatles song come out. All right, in August, I think July or August, a new Beatles song comes out, and it's only possible because they used AI. That's something I want to touch on in the next episode as well. So man, send me an email if there's something you want me to talk about that I haven't touched on, or if you want to come on and talk about something. Send me an email. Let me know. americandufus@gmail.com. If you'd like to help support this show, which is always greatly appreciated, and thank you very much to those that do. Cashapp, $American Doofus, AMERICANDUFUS, all one word. The best way to do that. You can reach out to me through email again, americandufus@gmail.com, for other ways to help support the show if you'd like to. And gosh, we've been going almost an hour and 20 minutes, so that's more than a fair piece of content for a Tuesday night. And I love y'all. I sincerely do. Thank you so much for clicking on. Thank you for being here. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to everybody that commented. And if you're watching on replay and you're not catching it live, leave a comment below. And thank you. Thank you no matter when you're watching. I love y'all. Namaste. Shalom. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. Blessings be upon you. In the name of the Most High, His Son Christ Jesus, with power of the Holy Spirit. Positive vibrations to all of you. Much love. Peace. Live long and prosper. And it's a dark world. Try to be a light. Seriously. Who knows what's happening? A lot of stuff going on. We'll see you next time. Love y'all. Thank you. Good night.